to learn how to minimize your taxes in 2024 as well. So there's yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, family? Welcome to the Multiply Your Money Masterclass. We could not be more excited to be in a room with you all right now because we are about to change some lives. We are about to break some generational curses. We are about to help some people attain financial freedom. We're about to do it all. My brother, what's going on, man?
That's a fact. That's a fact. How you feeling? I know we just had an opportunity to teach some people in person recently. So we say, let's keep the party going and share the good news online.
1000%, man. 1000%. A lot of lives were changed this past weekend. A lot of lives could be changed on this class today, because you all signed up for this masterclass because you all wanted to learn how to multiply your money in 2024. You want to learn how to minimize your taxes in 2024 as well. So the goal of this free masterclass is to teach you how to save $25,000 in taxes. And then you can take that money that I just helped you get back from the IRS, and now you have that money to go and invest, right? Some of y'all already got money to invest right now, and that's cool. But can I give y'all some extra money to invest? Somebody dropped the word extra in the chat. I want to help you find some extra money, right? Because the more money that you have to invest, the more money that you ultimately be able to multiply. So that is our promise with this class, and we are so happy to have you all here. And it's going to be a phenomenal event. Now, one thing that I want to do, because oftentimes people, how do I want to phrase this? Some of us come to these classes often, and that's fine. But some of us in this room are addicted to education, but allergic to execution, right? Some people are addicted to education, but allergic to execution. And getting the information is great, but information will only change your situation through implementation. So what I want you all to do, can y'all please just go grab a notepad, something to take notes with, because we don't send out any of the recordings. So I don't want you all to be in a place like, hey, run that back. I didn't get that. And then now you can't execute because you didn't take notes. Okay, so grab the notepads because we're going to execute on this information.
I'm curious, like, what made you sign up for the class? Like, what are you here for? Like, what do you want to leave this class knowing? When you're an expert at what you do, right? Like, you can make some adjustments in real time to make sure that the room gets exactly what they came for. So investment strategies, tax efficiency, how to increase my money, how I can make my money work for me and retire early, better investment, tax write-offs.
So here's what I want to know. Do we have more people in here for tax knowledge? Do we have more people in here for investing? We should do that every class to see. Yeah. I love it. So investing.
I'm exhausted from paying taxes and want to make some major changes. Okay, Catherine, we're here for a treat.
But sure, okay, some people are here for investing, some people are here for tax savings, some people are in here for both, which is amazing. Okay, so who you want to go first, bro? Should I go first?
I think if we gonna give them the tax game, so they can get that money back from the IRS.
You're right. I'll go first. So I'm gonna go ahead and get busy. But yeah, but I do want to do this before we get started. How many of y'all have ever came to like one of these free classes before, and the person teaching, they promised they was gonna teach you something, but all they tried to do was like sell you something the whole time, right? It happened to me last week. Right? How many of y'all came to one of these free classes? They promised that they teach you about Turo, Airbnb, e-commerce, Amazon. They promised they'll teach you something, and all they tried to do was sell you something the whole time. Like, bro, there's nothing more disrespectful than you wasting my time. I mean, wasting my money, that hurt. But wasting my time, you wasting the only thing I can't get back. Okay? So, if any of you all had that experience before, I'm here to tell you that this ain't that. Can y'all do me a favor? Drop this ain't that in the chat. This ain't that. Okay? Because it just happened to me last week and I was so upset. I said, bro, why would you send me off like that? Right? So this ain't that. But in the spirit of transparency, here's what I want to say, because my brother taught me to keep it humble, open, and transparent. And I'm probably one of the most transparent people you ever gonna meet. Okay? We're gonna give you a whole lot of game. And at the end of today's class, we're gonna give you all an opportunity to continue learning with us. That opportunity is not going to be for everybody. We'll give y'all a few of you all opportunity to continue working with us, and that opportunity is going to be a $2,000 investment. Cards on the table, right? But that's not important. I don't even want you thinking about that because that's not your job. Your only job is to get as much free game in this next 60 minutes as you possibly can. That's it. Your job is to give as much free game as you possibly can in the next 60 minutes. My job is to give you as much game as I can in the next 60 minutes. Okay? And at the end of today's class, you're going to know if it's worth it or not. If I didn't help you make any money or save any money in the free class, don't try to give us any money at the end, right? We're going to give y'all some free game. If the learning was good and you enjoyed it, then you can take advantage of the offer. If you don't, I'm going to love you anyway. Like, is that cool? Like, I don't know why people just can't be that upfront. Like, yo, I'm going to give y'all some game at the end. You go, if you want to tap in, tap in. If you don't have to. Cool. So now there's no elephant in the room. Like, it's Carter and George trying to sell you something. No, Carter and George is here to give some free game. And those of you all who don't want the learning to stop, you're going to keep learning, period. Okay, cool. Now that we got that out the way, let's go right into today's class. So like I said, I'm going to teach you how to save $25,000 in taxes. And then George is going to come back and teach you how to invest that money. All right, so my segment is what I call your blueprint to tax-free living. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Y'all let me know if y'all can see. Okay, cool. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Y'all can see. Y'all can see. Okay, bet. So, for those of you all who don't know me, my name is Carter Cofield. I am a CPA, licensed CPA for over 10 years, and I'm one of the top CPAs in the country. As a matter of fact, the #1 accounting magazine in America named me the #1 accountant for millennials. Not only that, but they decided to put your boy on the cover of the magazine. Look at God, won't he do it? Right? So, and I don't show you all this to impress you all, but I show you all this for one important thing. There's a lot of noise on the internet, and you should vet everybody you're about to learn from. So just in case you didn't vet me before you came into this class, I'm vetting myself for you to let you know that I am somebody that is worth learning from, and I actually have the expertise and the credentials, right? I got more degrees than a thermometer, y'all. Okay, so any words coming out of my mouth, you don't got to worry about is it true or not. All right, cool. So now y'all didn't come here for me though. Y'all came for the class. So I'm gonna give you the bad news about taxes, and then I'm gonna give you the good news. If that's okay. We're gonna do bad news first, and we're gonna do good news second. So here's the bad news, because I know everybody in this room hates taxes, right? Why do we hate taxes? The bad news is that the average American pays 51% of their lifetime income to the IRS. Ain't that crazy? The average American pays 51% of their lifetime income to the IRS. And like, just in case y'all don't understand what 51% means, because I know all of us don't do math for a living like I do. That means that the first 6 months of every year, you are working for free. Okay? That means January, February, March, April, May, June, you are working for free. And I would encourage you to stop doing that, because here's what you don't realize. You'd be like, well, I don't pay 51% in tax. Well, let's talk about it. Before you even see your paycheck, you got to pay federal tax, state tax, self-employment tax. After you get your money, you try to spend your money at the store, you got to pay sales tax. Okay, you want to follow the American dream and buy a home? Guess what? You got to pay property tax. You want to sell that home for more than what you paid for it? Guess what? You got to pay capital gains tax. And then when you die, depending on how much you earned during your lifetime, they hit you again with a state tax. So when I say you pay 51% of your money to the IRS every single year, that's what I mean. Okay? And I'm here to tell you right now, all of the money that you need for your goals and your dreams, you are currently giving it to the IRS. So all the money you wish you had to invest, all the money you wish you had to get in real estate, all the money you wish you had to jumpstart your business, all the money you wish you had to travel more, you have the money, you're just giving it away. Okay? So that's the bad news. That's the bad news. Okay? Everybody take a deep breath, because I know some of y'all can't breathe right now. Okay? Everybody take a deep breath. BK said this is slavery. It's the closest thing to it. Okay? It's the closest thing to it. So that's the bad news, but here's the good news. Here's the good news. The tax code was not created to make you pay a lot of money in taxes. Okay? I'm I'm gonna say it again. The tax code was not created to make you pay a lot of money in taxes. As a matter of fact, the tax code is actually a rule book, an 88,000 page rule book teaching you how to legally avoid paying taxes. Okay? Now, I know some of y'all don't believe it, and here's the reason why. You can't win the game of taxes yet because you haven't yet learned the rules. Okay? Like, you can't win the game of taxes if you don't know the rules. So the reason why you can't comprehend what how is the tax code made to help me? It is, but you got to learn the rules of the game so you can start winning the game. Okay? Can't win the game you don't know the rules to. So just to show you all what is possible, is it okay if I be super transparent and I show y'all something that I honestly probably shouldn't be showing y'all? But like, can I be super transparent really quickly? Because I believe that transparency is important. Okay. Maggie Griffin said, yeah, please do. Destiny said, please do. Amber, okay, cool. So here is a copy of my 2021 tax return. Now, I don't know how many tax experts on the internet is going to show you their receipts of their tax return. I don't know how many people are going to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay. So if you look in 2021, I had two businesses back then. One business did about 270,000. The other business did about 540,000. So we did a little over $800,000 in revenue in 2021. God is good. Won't he do it? Now, does anybody remember what tax rate the average American pays? Does anybody remember what I said at the beginning? How much taxes the average American pays? 51%. See, y'all paying attention. Somebody trying to win this money at the end. Somebody trying to win this money. Okay, great. 51%. Now, that means that 51% times 400,000, that is over $400,000. So that means that I was supposed to cut the IRS a check for $400,000. Can y'all imagine that? That would make me physically sick, like nauseous, right? But because I knew the rules of the game, we didn't do that. When we filed taxes, here was my results. We owed the state of Illinois about $4,238. So we owed the state of Illinois $4,238, but we got a federal tax refund of $14,586. Now, some of y'all like, Carter, wait a second. How is it possible that you had $800,000 of income and got a $14,000 tax refund? Like, did anybody have that question? Like, how can somebody earn more than you but pay less taxes than you, right? And the answer is simple. Once you know the rules of the game, you can start winning the game. See, some people, they get mad at the tax code and say the tax code is made for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poor. Some people get mad at wealthy people and say they're crooks and they should go to jail. I would encourage you, like, don't spend your time hating the player. Don't spend your time hating the game. Instead, learn the game so you can win the game. And today, I'm about to give you the only rules you need to learn if you want to win the game. Okay? So can somebody do me a favor? Can you just drop win the game in the chat if you are ready to win the game? Can you drop win the game in the chat if you are ready to win the game? All right, cool. So here are the two rules you must learn. All right. Rule number one. The tax code was created to benefit entrepreneurs and investors, not employees. Okay? I'm gonna say that. I gotta say it again because y'all might have missed it. The tax code was not created to benefit employees. I'm sorry. The tax code was created to benefit entrepreneurs and investors. Some of y'all like, why? Well, as an entrepreneur, I stimulate the economy, right? And the government will always reward people who stimulate the economy, AKA the government is really lazy and they're going to reward you for doing their job for them. So as a business owner, for every job that I create, guess what? That's one less person on unemployment. For every job that I create, that's one less that's one less job that they have to create. So because I'm doing the government's job for them, they're going to give me massive tax breaks. And guess what? If you do everything that the government wants you to do, they'll easily allow you to live tax-free. So if you want to win the game of taxes, you first need to be on the right team. You need to be an entrepreneur or you need to be an investor. Okay? That easy enough. That makes sense. Drop got it in the chat. That y'all got it. Like why they didn't teach us this in school is beyond me, but we learned it today. Okay? So that's rule number one. Now here goes rule number two. Rule number two is the rules of write-offs. Now, honesty moment. I've been honest with y'all all day so far. Now, actually, be honest with me. Is there anybody in the room that has heard the word write-offs, but you don't really know what it means? Let me know. Is there anybody in the room that heard the word write-off, but you don't really know what it means? Okay, cool. And it's honesty. I appreciate it. So here's how, before I show you what a write-off is, let me just give you a quick example of how a write-off works. Okay, so the way the write-offs work is if you have $100,000 of income, let me stop sharing so I can see. Yeah, if you have $100,000 of income, you got to pay taxes on that $100,000. Duh, right? If $100,000 of income, you got to pay taxes on $100K. But if you have $100,000 of income, but $30,000 of write-offs, guess what? You don't have to pay taxes on the whole $100,000. You only have to pay taxes on the $70,000 that's left. So what it basically means is write-offs lower your income, which therefore lowers your taxes. That makes sense? Write-offs lower your income, which lower your taxes. So what that means is that the more write-offs we can get, guess what? The less taxes we will pay. The more write-offs we can get, the less taxes we will pay. So now it's like, how do we get as many write-offs as we possibly can? Right? So let's talk about that. So let's talk about now that we understand how write-offs work, let's talk about what a write-off actually is. Okay. So, and this is a screenshot from the IRS's tax code. This is not something that Carter says. I'm giving y'all, this is like written IRS tax code 162A. It says, allows a deduction for all ordinary and necessary expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year in a trade or business. So what that basically means is if you have a business or if you have a side business, or even if your job pays you as a 1099 contractor, if you're one of the three, any expense that you can prove to be both ordinary and necessary to operate your business, that expense is tax deductible to you. So, like, I hope y'all are having the same epiphany that I had. So I said, wait a second. So that means if I'm using my cell phone, which I'm already paying for, if I'm using my cell phone in my business and I'm using it to call my employees and I'm using it to call my clients and I'm using it to schedule meetings, would that mean that a portion of my phone bill and my cell phone is tax deductible? Huh. So wait a second. If I buy this iPad and I'm using my iPad to teach a class, does that mean that a portion of my iPad can be written off in my business as well? Oh, wait a second. So you mean to tell me if I go to dinner with somebody and we bring up business at the dinner table, does that mean that personal dinner is now a business dinner and I can write off 50% of it? Wow. So I have the same epiphany that some of y'all are having right now. I said, wait a second. So you mean to tell me the moment I shift from employee to entrepreneur, most of my personal expenses become immediate tax deductible business expenses the moment I have a business? So what do y'all think I did when I found this out? What do y'all think I did when I found this out? Oh, baby, we started the business. You can best believe that. We started the business. So is it okay if I teach you all like a real life example of how to wipe out $100,000 of income in your business without having to spend extra money? Would that be helpful? I can show y'all how to wipe out 100,000, 6 figures of income. All right, y'all said y'all ready. Hey, look, if it's one thing we gonna do, we gonna see, okay? If it's one thing we gonna do, we are going to see. All right, so let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know y'all can see my iPad. Let me know y'all can see my iPad. About to get busy. So advanced. Share. Back. Okay, cool. So my second year in business, I had my first six-figure year, right? My first year in business, my second year in business, I had my first six-figure year. All right. So I earned $100,000 in income. The problem is I had to pay state taxes, federal taxes, and self-employment taxes on this income. So I had all my tax bracket. So that means I had a $30,000 tax bill that I had to pay to the IRS. Now, this was before I learned about IRS Code Section 162A. So midway through the year, I realized that I could start taking write-offs in my business. Okay? And let me just say this as well. If you're a W-2 earner with a business on the side, your side business gets the same deduction as full-time businesses. Like, you don't have to have an LLC to take advantage of tax deductions. So it kills me, like, people working good, they make a lot of money at their full-time job, they start a side business, they don't realize that their side business gets the same deduction as their full-time business. But hey, look, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. So let's talk about the write-offs I was able to get. So we just talked about how you can turn your personal expenses that you're already paying for into tax-deductible business expenses, like your cell phone bill, like your computer, like your internet, like your trips, like your meals. So I was able to turn personal expenses into business expenses, and I had $10,000 worth of deductions. That means I had $10,000 worth of expenses I was paying for personally that I was able to move into my business and start saving on taxes. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing is something called the QBI deduction. Has anybody ever heard about this? The QBI deduction. Okay, cool. Well, back when Donald Trump was president, the IRS came up with this rule, and he was like, how can we help business owners more? We're already helping business owners save a lot of taxes. How can we help them more? So back in 2018, they came up with the Tax Cuts and Job Act, and they said, you know what we're going to do to entice more people to start businesses? They said, we're going to give every business owner in America a 20% tax deduction on their income just for being a business owner. So if you were a W-2 employee making $100,000, guess what? You don't get no QBI deduction. But if you're a business owner on $100,000, you get a 20% tax deduction on your income just for having a business. Like, when I say the government is enticing you to start businesses, that's what I'm telling. Like, in this day and age, there's no excuse for nobody not to have a business. Not having a business is costing you too much. So I got a $20,000 tax deduction just for having a business. Look at God, won't he do it? So that's two things. So we turned our personal expenses into business expenses, 10,000, QBI deduction, 20,000. Then, now let's talk about education. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but my parents weren't entrepreneurs. So I bought a lot of courses and ebooks, and I went to a lot of conferences because I didn't have nobody to teach me how to grow my business. I had nobody to teach me how to do marketing, sales, strategy. I had none of that. So I spent money on online education. And what was so wild to me and really made me upset is that like people close to me was telling me like that investing in this online education was a scam. Like, have y'all ever heard that? Like, does anybody like ever told you that investing in yourself or online education is a scam? Like my own family members told me that. So I'm like, oh, okay, yo. So here's what I learned that changed the game for me. When somebody says investing in your education is a scam, scam stands for still confused about money. Okay? So now you got an acronym. Anytime somebody tells you investing in yourself is a scam, scam stands for still confused about money. And we are too grown to be hanging with people who are still confused about money. Okay? And like, since we're talking about scam, and I'm about to go off topic, but we here now. Like, talk about scam. Let's talk about it. You want to know what the real scam is? I was telling this to my homie the other day. The real scam is we were convinced by society that it is mandatory to go get a college education and spend $100,000 to learn from someone who was not doing the thing that they're teaching us and who is not making the money that we're trying to make. Ain't that crazy? We talk to spend $100,000 in college to pay a professor to teach about business school that don't have a business. To have somebody teach us about making money when they don't make no money. Right? And guess what? On top of that, the money you pay for school tuition, here's the kicker. The money you pay for tuition, it's not tax deductible. You get a small deduction for tuition, but once you start making over $70,000, you phase out. So college tuition is not tax deductible. But you know what is deductible? If I can go pay a billionaire like Tony Robbins to learn about business strategy, I can go pay a multi-millionaire like Alex Ramosi to learn about marketing. I can pay for their courses. I can go to their conferences. I can pay for their coaching. And every single dollar, 100% of the money that I pay them is tax deductible in my business. Y'all ain't talking to me today. The money that I'm paying people that are doing the things I want to do and who are earning the money I want to earn, that is 100% tax deductible to me. So somebody said, this is BS, man. Hey, look, I'm trying, hey, you got to wake up. I'm trying to wake you up. Hey, look, the system was not made for you to win, but hey, look, you're in the right place, the right time with the right people. Okay. So I was able to get a $10,000 tax deduction for all the education I invested in. Okay. So next, let's talk about your rent or your mortgage. Okay. So let's talk about your rent and your mortgage. Some of y'all are like, there's no possible way the IRS is going to let you write off your rent or your mortgage on your taxes. Anybody thinking that? So let me break this down for you. The IRS will gladly let you write off your rent and mortgage if you pass these two tests. Number one, you have to have a business. Most of us check that box. Number two, you have to have a dedicated place in your home where you solely work. Okay? You either have a business, you have to have a dedicated place in your home where you solely work. So this can't be the desk in your corner of your bedroom. You need to have a separate room for your office, the basement, a den, a closet. It has to be a closed off area where you solely work. So if you have a business, if you have a dedicated place you solely work, the IRS will let you write off a portion of your rent or your mortgage every single month. And that number is based on the space. So if you really want to get smart, and you can do what I did. I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and instead of making my master bedroom my bedroom, I turned my master bedroom into my office and my guest bedroom into my bedroom to increase the space of my office. Somebody talked to me. I left somebody on the last exit. So now I was able to increase the amount of rent that I'm able to write off on my taxes every single month. So I was able to write off $1,000 per month in my rent or mortgage that I was already paying for on my taxes. So what that means is I got a $12,000 tax deduction for working from the crib. And the crazy part is, some of y'all been working from home since COVID. Some of y'all been working from home since 2020, and you missed out on this deduction every single year. But when you know better, you do better, and that's why you're here tonight, okay? So let's keep it moving. I'm almost running out of time. So let's talk about vehicles, y'all. Let's talk about vehicles. All right. If you use your vehicle for business at least 50% of the time, the IRS will allow you to write off a portion of your vehicle expenses every single month. What expenses am I talking about? Well, interest on your car note, car insurance, gas, parking, oil changes, repairs, tires, car washes, car details, and all other expenses related to your vehicle. So you are able to write off a portion, 50% or more, of all expenses related to your vehicle. Okay? Now, there is one important expense that I didn't say. Does anybody know what that is? It's one very important expense related to your vehicle that I left out. Who's trying to win this money at the end of this class? Who's trying to win this money at the end of this class? I said gas, I said insurance, I said repairs. There we go. Who said it? Who said it first? The first person I saw, Harold Moe. All right, Harold, I remember your name, brother. Depreciation, okay? Depreciation is one of the best tax deductions you can ever get. So what the IRS says is they say, we know a car is an appreciating. They say we know a car is a depreciating asset. Meaning, if you buy a car and you spin the block and you try to give it back to the people that just sold it to you, they're not gonna give you what you just paid for because it depreciates. So the IRS said, okay, cool. Because your car is gonna lose value in the future, we're gonna give you a tax deduction today. I said, say what? Don't threaten me with a good time. They say, because your vehicle is going to lose value in the future, we're going to give you a tax deduction today. Well, how much? The IRS will let you depreciate your vehicle in the first year of ownership up to $20,200. So on top of all the expenses, like insurance, gas, repairs, car note, car insurance, all that, you also can write off up to $20,200 in just depreciation. So when we added it up, I got a $25,000 tax deduction for utilizing my car in my business, which all of us can easily do. Okay? Now, last but not least, and I got to get out of here because George got to teach. Last but not least, let's talk about investing. So I'm gonna leave. I ain't gonna touch too much of George's topic. But let's talk about investing, because I have a saying that says, the more you invest, the less you pay the IRS. Okay? The more you invest, the less you pay the IRS. So did you know, as a self-employed person, as a business owner, that you can set up your own retirement account? Did y'all know that? As a business owner, like, most people are scared to lose their job because what's going to happen with my retirement? Start your own. Guess how much it costs for you to set up your own retirement plan in your business? It is free. So don't let society shackle you into your employer because you're scared of losing something you can set up for yourself. See, y'all ain't ready for me today. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep moving. So you can set up your own retirement plan, and it's free. I would advise you to set up a solo 401k. And guess what? The IRS allows you to invest up to $23,000 in 2024 into this solo 401k. But you know what's so dope about this? It gets even crazier. Not only can you invest $23,000 in a solo 401k, but guess what? The IRS is going to give you a $23,000 tax deduction for you doing so. So let me get this straight. I can invest my own money into my own retirement plan so my money can grow without me working. Not only can I invest my money to this account to build my financial future, the IRS is going to give me a tax deduction for that money I put in at the same time. So I'm increasing my net worth by $23,000 and decreasing my taxable income by $23K at the same time. So this is the skills and this is the news that we need to use to lower our taxes. So we got a tax deduction. Let's do a review, y'all. I got to get out of here. Let's do a quick review. So we got a tax deduction for turning our personal expenses into business expenses. We got the QBI deduction, which is 20K. We got the write-off our education, which was 10,000. We got a $12,000 deduction for writing off our rent and our mortgage. We got a $25,000 for writing off our vehicle, and we got $23,000 tax deduction for investing in our financial future with our retirement plan. So we spent no extra money than we were already spending, but guess what? If we add all this up, that is $100,000 worth of write-offs. And now look at this. So now that we have $100,000 of write-off, look, we had $100,000 of income. We had $100,000 of income, but guess what? Now we got $100,000 of write-offs. So what's that mean, family? What's that mean? Oh, that means we have a $0 tax bill. That means we got a $0 tax bill. And the money we gave to the IRS, guess what? They have to give that $30,000 back to us in the form of a tax refund. Ain't that crazy? So we made the money in our business. We wrote off all of our expenses on our taxes, didn't have to spend any extra money. And then we get a $30,000 tax refund if we gave the money to the IRS. And now you have $30,000 to invest. And that's my time, family.
Okay.
Well, I left a little bit of skin on the bones for you, bro. I ain't leave much.
You didn't leave much. You know how people be eating the chicken and they eat the gristle and they be chewing. I'm like, what are you doing? Leave some meat on the bone. That's crazy. They drop tax-free in the chat if he just blew y'all head off with some tax game. Drop tax-free in the chat. Someone said the gristle the best part. Y'all crazy. Said the gristle the best part. That y'all crazy. Hey, but look, here's the good news, right? Because here's why we structure this class this way. Because I know y'all sitting on some money in y'all bank accounts. I know y'all sitting on some money somewhere, but I don't know how much. And so we don't want to make any assumptions. So what we figure is if we show you how to get money back that you're already overpaying in taxes, that was money that was already gone. So now when you get that money back, guess what you can do with it? You can do what I'm about to teach you. And that's learn how to make your money work for you. So y'all ready? Y'all ready to learn how to invest? Drop invest in the chat if y'all ready to learn how to invest. Drop invest in the chat if y'all ready to learn how to invest. Let's get into it. All right. So today we're going to learn the blueprint to retiring rich 3 times faster than traditional financial advice. Is that okay? Rich. Now, some of y'all may or may not know who I am. So I'm going to do just a really quick intro, really quick overview, because I want to spend as much time as I have showing you how to take advantage of these strategies. So I am a licensed financial advisor, and I've been doing this for over 12 years. I'm actually ranked as one of the top 100 advisors in the nation. If you just in Google George Actionpong top 100, you'll find me there. Out of over 100,000 advisors in the nation, I'm one of the top 100, so the top 10th of 1%. Grateful for that recognition. And I'm also a Forbes contributor. So Forbes asked me to write articles for them to share my thoughts on investing in personal finance, right? So I'm not going to go on too much about those accolades. I just share those so that you guys can feel comfortable knowing that the information that I share with you is information you can trust, information that you can believe, and information that is credible. All right. Now, as Carter mentioned, it's all about execution, right? If it was just about information, we'd all be billionaires with 6-packs, right? If it was just about information and just getting access to it, right? What would happen if you never fell off that workout program? Right? If you did everything you're supposed to do with the nutrition plan, if you did everything you were supposed to do the first time you learned anything about money, you'd probably be in a good place. The issue is not consistently executing on everything that you need to do, right? So I want y'all to drop execute in the chat because I want to make sure that when we leave this class that you take action fast, okay? When we leave this class, I want to make sure you guys take action fast. And here's what I want to do. Like, is it okay if I be honest? Like I just want to be honest and transparent because if I let my guard down, I feel like, it might breed some connection. Y'all want to be my rich relatives real quick? Can we be family? Can I be honest with y'all? All right, cool. I'm not looking at the chat, but I see the numbers going up. So I'm assuming those are yeses. All right. So what you're looking at is a screenshot. I'd say I think this is probably 20. I don't know. It's probably 20, maybe 2011 or something like that, right? So that's a screenshot of my bank account. Okay. And as you can see, it's not a whole lot of money, right? And the reason why I screenshot it is because I knew that at some point in my life, this would be my reality, right? And I wanted to file this away in what I like to now call my never again folder. Your never again folder is like a reverse vision board, right? It's for all the things in life that you say, I'll never find myself in that position ever again. Maybe it's the bank account balance, right? Maybe it's the amount of debt that you have. Maybe it's the physical shape that your body is in. Whatever it is, I like to document those moments, not to dwell on them, but so that I can have a reference point of a situation in life, of a moment in time that I would never allow myself to get to again, right? So I screenshotted that many years ago because I knew that wouldn't be my reality, but I wanted to reflect just in case I ever started to fall off again, that I didn't want my bank account to look like this, right? So then how does one go from their bank account looking like this to just one of their investment accounts looking like this? Whereas if you look closely, you'll see that this particular investment account made about $12,000 in a day, right? Just on autopilot. Now, again, as you can see, I don't share this to brag because I just showed you where I came from, right? I shared this to give you perspective that regardless of where you're starting from, that doesn't have to be the end of your journey. Even George, the investing guy, because at the time I wasn't even a financial advisor yet, right? But the investing guy now, right? The financial advisor, the wealth manager, top 100, he didn't start here, right? He started here. And so that can shatter your limiting belief on who this is possible for. Anybody can learn how to make their money work for them. Did y'all know something? Did y'all know that you can sleep in a little bit as long as your money wakes up early? Hold on, I'm gonna say that again. I don't think y'all caught that one. That might have went over y'all head like luggage. Did you know that you could sleep in as long as your money wakes up early? Right? And that's what investing is. It's your money working for you so you don't always have to work for it. Now, again, this doesn't just work for me. These are a couple of screenshots of friends, family members, clients, literally sending me messages. I get messages all the time of people who listen to my advice, they execute on what I say, and the results that they get, right? This particular person logged into their account and saw that their money had made them $4,800. They were like, and I didn't do anything for it, right? This particular person said they've been making so much money from investments. They said they was going to buy an island. I was like, whoa, you going crazy, right? This particular person said that I was trying to remember when they were planning to retire and they had just turned 40 and they said, I'm retiring this December, right? And that's 25 years faster than when the world tells you you're supposed to retire. The world tells you you're supposed to retire at age 65, right? She said, nah, you show me how to figure out this investing thing, and I'm retiring 25 years sooner. And now she's living her best life, right? So again, I share these things just so you can understand what's possible and why you absolutely need to stay to the end of this call to learn how you can do the same thing. It's gonna be quick, right? I'm gonna drop the gems, and your job is to pick them up. Okay. Now, here's a quote that I live by. That quote is, the value of anything is the amount of life you are willing to trade for. And I'm going to illustrate in 1 second exactly what that means, but I'm going to repeat it for you. The value of anything is the amount of life you're willing to trade for. Now, let me illustrate what that means exactly. Okay. All right. So we are going to share my screen. Boom. Drop yes if you can see a white blank screen I just did a little doodle on. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good, very good. All right, cool. So if the value of anything is the amount of life you're willing to trade for, we got to back into what do people trade their time for, right? And we got to figure out what our time is worth. So here's how we're going to figure that out. The average person, right? You might make a lot more than this, but the average person in the US makes about $50,000 a year. Okay. And to earn that $50,000 a year, they work 40 hours a week for about 50 weeks. Let's just assume they get a 2-week vacation. So if we multiply 40 hours a week times 50 weeks, that's going to translate to 2,000 hours, right? So 2,000 hours of their life, it's traded for the 50,000. Now, pull out your iPhone calculators or your Android calculators if that's what you got, and let me know something. What is 50,000 divided by 2,000? What is 50,000? Let me drop it in the chat. What is 50,000 divided by 2,000? I saw it quick. Y'all are smart. Y'all catch on quick. 25. So that represents $25 an hour. So a person who earns $50,000 a year, regardless if they're salaried or hourly, basically their time is worth $25 an hour. Now, this doesn't mean that that's their worth, right? That just means what the marketplace is validating that their time is worth, right? Because that's what they're paying them. So now we know that our time is worth $25 an hour. Now, we typically go to work, right? Or we typically have a business, whether this is your job or whether it's your business, however much money you make, we typically earn income so that we can pay for things, right? And I looked at the top 3 expenses that most people have, and that's where they live, what they drive, and what they eat, right? So let's pick what they drive. And I saw that the average car payment was somewhere around $500 a month. And people spend, but let's just say about $200 for gas. Let's just assume you got a good driving record and your car insurance is only $100. But I know some of y'all can't drive. But let's just be generous and say the total cost of ownership for your car is $800 a month. But here's the thing. If y'all picking up what I'm putting down, the total cost of ownership of the car is actually not $800 a month, right? Because you have to trade your time in order to get the $800 in the first place. And if your time is worth $25 an hour, how much does the car actually cost? Let me see who's paying attention. 32. 32 what? 32 hours of your life. This should be a paradigm shifting moment for you, because when you walk into your closet, when you look into your refrigerator, when you think about all the things you spend on online shopping, it's not the amount of dollars that you spend, it's the amount of life that you trade. So then you got to ask yourself, am I getting a fair trade? Right? So in this example, let's just take your car. I don't know how much money you make, but if this was you and you were trading 32 hours of your life for this car payment, would you say that you drive or get 32 hours of use out of your vehicle? Chances are probably not. So what does that mean? That means I'm trading life for something that I'm not even getting the full benefit out of. Something got to shift. We got to start to realign our priorities, because life, when they say time is money, I don't think time is money. I think time is more important than money. Money is something that you can always get once you learn the skill of becoming valuable to the marketplace. Time is a resource that only depletes and can never be replenished. So you got to be very mindful of what you use your time for. And in a perfect world scenario, you want to use your money to buy time. And what I mean by that is you want to use your money to buy investments so that those investments can produce cash flow so that working becomes optional. Now I'm going to illustrate that. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we just looked at the liability side of the equation, right? So let's put up some important reminders. We know that our time is worth $25 an hour, okay? So instead of spending money on liabilities like that car, what would happen if instead we bought shares of Apple stock in this example, right? And I'm going to keep it simple for y'all. Let's just assume that Apple stock is trading at $100 a share, okay? Now, if you make $25 an hour, I'm going to see who's with me. I'm going to see who's paying attention. What happens every single time you buy one share of Apple with your money? If you make $25 an hour, every time you buy one full share of Apple, what does that mean? Bingo, Troy. Bingo, Colin. Bingo, Susan. You buy back 4 hours of your life. And once you understand this equation, life should never be the same, because every time you spend money, you're taking away from the opportunity to buy back hours of your life, right? Now, we all need stuff to live. I'm not saying don't buy nice stuff, don't go on vacation, don't travel, but it's a little thing called order of operations, right? And what I mean by that is, here's a smart way to live. Most people, what they do is they get paid from their business or from their job, whatever their income source is. They take that money and then they go buy the things they need in life, right? That's what most people do. The same way most people do, they get paid, their taxes get taken out on the front end, they don't know about tax deductions, and then they have to invest or they have to live on what's left after taxes, right? So you just don't know what you don't know. But the true order of operations is when I get paid, the majority of my money, or at least a portion of my money, needs to be going into investments. Why? Because the more money I buy, more money I put into investments, the more those investments grow. And then eventually those investments can produce the cash flow that replace my need to work, that replace my need to run a business. Look at it from this vantage point, right? Let's say that you are a farmer and you had two choices. You could either take the seeds that could one day turn into an apple tree and eat them, right? Or you could plant those seeds, let them actually grow into an apple tree, and then take care of that tree and eat from that tree year after year after year after those seeds that you planted one time. That's how investing works. So let me illustrate it for you, right? So that car that we talked about, and I'm not a good drawer. I'm a guy that gets paid to do numbers. So don't judge me, right? This is not a pretty car. But that car that we talked about spending $800 a month on, 5 years from now, do you think it's going to be worth more or worth less 5 years from now? What do y'all think? Less, okay? Right? So we know the car's going to be worth less in 5 years. Now that Apple stock, I told you, don't judge me. I'm not a drawer. In 5 years, do we think that Apple stock is going to be worth more or less than you paid for it originally? What do we think? What do we think? Do you think it's going to be worth more? Exactly. So what's the takeaway? When I spend money on liabilities in the future, what I spent the money on will be worth less. When I spend money on assets in the future, what I spend money on will be worth more. Why is that so powerful? Because if you spent $100 on Apple share, right? Then let's just say 5 years from now, this Apple share is worth $300. You now bought back an additional, 8 hours of your life without having to spend more money to do it because the investment grew on its own. And that's why we can't not invest, because your money is working for you even when you are not working for it. Somebody said Apple went up today. You bet it did, right? Does that make sense? Drop yes in the chat. That makes sense. Now, that's just the advertising. I wanted to set the right frame, because sometimes we see people talking on Instagram and it's like, should I buy Nvidia? Should I buy Apple? Should I buy real estate? Should I buy crypto? What you should do is understand why whatever path you choose, you better choose it fast, because you are losing purchasing power every day that you don't have your money working for you. I don't care whether it's $5, 500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever it is, you've got to get your money working for you. Okay, let's get into it. All right. Every asset you own is a second, a minute, hour, or year towards buying back your time. And that's what we got to do today, right? So there are a lot of myths about investing, a lot of myths about building wealth. But for the sake of time, I wanted to focus on one that I felt was really, really important. And that is the myth that retirement is about age, right? Retirement actually is not about age. It's about assets, right? We just saw that, okay, well, the more money I invest, the more my money works for me. That doesn't have, you don't got to wait to do that at 60 or 70. And if you are already older, right, you don't have to wait longer, right? The goal is, how can I do that as fast as possible? But here's the issue. Most people learned about, either consciously or subconsciously, the 40-40-40 plan. Okay. Now, what is the 40-40-40 plan? That is when you work 40 hours a week, right, for 40 years of your life, only to be able to live off of $40,000 a year in income. And I'm gonna break down how this is true. Nobody is going to debate me. We all know that the standard work week is 40 hours. Whether you work 40 or not, that's the standard for most people, right? So that's already just a generally accepted thing by society. Now, how did I arrive at working 40 years of your life? Now, the average person by age 25, right? They might not have their dream job. They might not have life figured out, but they've started to make some consistent income, right? Like they're on a path to being to working, right, for the rest of their life or whenever they are able to retire, starting at age 25. So if the average person retires at age 65, somebody help me out with some math here, right? If the average person retires at 65 and I start working at 25, how many years is that? 40. Okay. Now, how did I arrive at only being able to live off of $40,000 a year in income once you retire? I'm gonna break that down too. So drop me in the chat if you've ever heard somebody say something like this. Invest $400 a month into the stock market and earning 7% a year, and in about 40 years, you'll have $1 million saved in retirement. Sounds so simple. You ever heard anything similar to that? Maybe not verbatim, right? And here's the truth. The truth is they're not wrong. The problem is that's too long. The reason why I'm one of the top 100 advisors in the nation is because I show people how to do things that everybody else does 3 times faster, right? Because some of y'all don't want to wait 3 months, much less 30 years, right? Some of y'all don't want to wait 3 years. So it's like we have to figure out another way. The old system of retirement is broken, right? Now, if you had that $1 million, even if you hit that magic target, which most people don't because the median retirement account balance is like $132,000. But if you hit that magic $1 million number that everybody thinks is so coveted, right? There's a rule that says if you don't want to run out of money, you should never withdraw more than 4% of your portfolio value at retirement. Well, let's do the math. What is 4% of $1 million? Drum roll, please. 40,000. So people end up being on the 40-40-40 plan. And if they do everything right, they still not going to have enough money. Y'all can't live off $40,000 a year now. Do you think you'll be able to live off $40,000 a year 10, 20, 30 years from now with the way inflation is? Probably not, right? Probably not. But the good news is you sign up for this class and you're going to learn how to play the game the right way. Okay. Now, just for educational purpose, I'll quickly breeze through this. If you do want to find out and figure out what your number is, right? What is my retirement number, right? How much money do I need to have invested in order to hit my target, right? What you have to do is figure out how much money you want to live off or need to live off of each month. You multiply that by 12 because that's the amount of months that there are in a year. And then you multiply that number by 25. So simple rule of thumb, if you multiply your annual income need by 25, that is the total amount of money you need to have invested to be able to retire, right? So if you need, $5,000 a month, 60 grand a year, multiply 60,000 times 25, that is your investment target, okay? That's your investment target. All right, so like I said, guys, it's just math though, right? So if a person makes $50,000 a year, they don't have much wiggle room because they got lifestyle expenses. So maybe if they do everything right, they can save and invest 10% of their income, which is going to be $5,000. And that's why everybody thinks retirement is about age, is because of the amount of resources that they can afford to allocate towards investing. But when you see that, okay, well, if I make $100,000 and I invest 20% of my income, then I can invest 20,000, i.e. 4 times more. If I make $250,000, I can invest 30% of my income. I can invest $75,000. Now, who thinks they're going to be able to retire a lot faster if they invest $75,000 versus $5,000? And I don't care where you fall in between here. The moral of the story is we got to get started, right? We got to get started. And I'm going to show y'all exactly how y'all can get started today by following one of my investment strategies. And I call it how to build a portfolio in 5 minutes, leveraging the Burger King investment strategy. Now, I know y'all probably thinking, well, this is where he lost me. Because what in the world does Burger King have to do with investing, right? I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to show you. So McDonald's, which we've all heard of, hopefully we don't eat there anymore. No judgment if you do. McDonald's spends millions of dollars a year trying to figure out where's the best place to put their next McDonald's locations, right? Because McDonald's knows they're in the real estate business. They want to get good traffic, right? They want to pick a location that's going to be good to them over time. Now, Burger King has a different strategy. They don't spend millions of dollars figuring out where they want to put the next Burger King. Anybody got any wild ideas on what Burger King does to figure out where they want to put the next Burger King? Well, they put it across the street from McDonald's or put it in proximity because they know, well, shoot, a person that likes McDonald's probably gonna like Burger King, right? Fast food is fast food. They know that on those really busy mornings when they're running late to the office and somebody wanted a McGriddle, but the drive-through line is around the corner, that they're gonna come across the street to get those French toast sticks. Okay. They know that when somebody's on lunch break and they want that Big Mac, right? With the Big Mac sauce, but the drive-through is busy again, they gonna come across the street to get that Whopper, right? They ain't got the time. So Burger King's like, I'm just gonna copycat. And it's okay to copycat as long as you copy the right cat. Now, what does this have to do with investing? Right? So what you want to do is, right, you want to research top investments, right? And you can do this by finding investments that are already successful. And then what you can do is you can R&D and not research and develop, but rob and duplicate the investments for yourself. So I'm gonna show you what that means. So in this investing world, there are these things called index funds and ETFs. And they're basically just a basket of investments all housed in one place, right? So instead of you having to figure out, should I own NVIDIA? Should I own Apple? Should I own Microsoft? Should I own Google? Should I own Meta? You can own an ETF or an index fund who's already selected 500 of the top investments, right? Or selected a bunch of them. And as you can see, this particular one, VOO, which is a Vanguard ETF, year to date, it's already up 16.58%. What is your bank account doing year to date, right? The stock market on average does between 8 to 10% a year. So this is overperforming, right? As you can see in a year's time, it did 22%, right? So my point here is, you mean to tell me if I just click this buy button, right? And I knew about these guys on January 1st, 2024. I just clicked the buy button, moved some money into this fund, then my money would have grown by 16.58%. That's crazy. That's what people mean when they say your money's working for you. Because while you're out doing whatever it is that you're doing, not managing this, right? Your money is compounding and is growing. But you know me, I'm an overachiever. Somebody say extra in the chat. I'm an overachiever. So I said 16.58%. That's cool. That's cute. I'm curious, like, what are some of the investments that they selected to get that 15.58%? And you can just Google VOO and this will come up for you. And what you can see is that, okay, oh, they got Microsoft in there. They got NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Eli Lilly. And there's 500 other pages. Okay. So you mean to tell me those are some of the top ones? There's a bunch of other pages, but these must be the heavy hitters because this is on the first page. Just the same way you go to Google, you're on the first page of Google. And once you get to that second page, like that stuff ain't really as important. This is what's important right here. That means the other ones might not be performing as well, right, as these ones, but that's what makes it diversified. So here's the bright idea that I had. I said, well, if these are the heavy hitters, if these are the all-stars on the all-star team, why wouldn't I keep them in the lineup the whole game? Chances are I'm probably going to score a lot more points if I don't bring in a bench player, right, and keep my all-stars in the game the whole time. Because the difference between the all-star athletes and your all-star investments is your all-star investments don't get tired, right? So why would I keep them in the game the whole time? Or at least maybe let me like take a chance to see if I can make my money grow a little bit faster by owning a little bit more of them. And let me show you what that looks like. So the bright idea that I had, I said, I don't mind owning the index fund like VOO, right? Cool. Maybe 50% of my money will go into that, or maybe another 50%, I'll just individually buy those top companies like Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, etc. Now, what did that do for me? What that did for me is for the past 5+ years, it's allowed me to dramatically outperform the market and beat everybody else, right? As you can see, George's personal portfolio, 224%, Vanguard, 51%, Warren Buffett's fund, 65%, right? The one we SPY, which is another index fund, 51%, right? So I'm walking the dog with everybody else, all because I had the right idea of saying, let me still own that index fund that they've done a lot of research to build, but I also want to own some of the heavy hitters individually inside my portfolio too. And that was my result. Does that make sense? Drop yes in the chat. That makes sense. But again, I'm an overachiever. Like if you just did that, you'd be winning, right? If you just did that, you'd be outperforming a lot of the investing gurus online. I promise you that, right? But I am extra, okay? So I want to keep going. Is that okay if I keep going and give y'all some more sauce? Okay. So would y'all like to learn how to invest the same dollar 3 different times? Let me ask you a better question. Do you think that if you learn how to invest the same dollar 3 different ways, that it might speed up your journey towards investing even faster than me just showing you how to have a portfolio that's probably going to perform better than most other people's? Just wild guess. I don't know how much you know about investing. Just if you had to guess, if you were a betting man or woman, anybody think that it might help speed up the process? Okay, cool. Well, let's get into how that works. Okay. So most people, now this is kind of a myth in and of itself. Most people hear the word debt and they think of it as a bad thing, right? They get nervous. They don't want to have it. Why? Because they do with the money, like we talked about in the beginning, by buying liabilities, buying stuff that's not going to appreciate. But there's a difference between debt and leverage, okay? So debt is when you spend money on something, right, to buy something that you don't have the money for, and then ultimately you're going to pay more for it over time because you have to pay interest on the money you borrow. That's debt. Typically not a good thing. Now, leverage is when I use borrowed capital for an investment, expecting the profits made to be greater than the interest payable, right? Said another way, if I borrow $1,000, right, at 3% interest, I'm expecting that what I invest that $1,000 in, the return is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 times greater than the interest that I had to pay to borrow the money. Because if you can do that, you can basically extend the amount of money that you have to buy more investments, and that is going to speed up your ability to get to your target faster when done safely and correctly. Okay. And there's one key distinction that you have to understand if this is something that you want to do to supercharge your wealth building. You got to understand the difference between borrowing from and borrowing against. Because did you know that when you invest your money, that those investment institutions will let you borrow against the value of your account? What that means is they can see that you have collateral. The same way if you have a house, they'll give you a home equity line of credit. Why? Because they see, oh, this house is worth this. I'll give them a line of credit based upon the value of the house. Because if they don't pay me back, I see they got an asset that I can come take. Right? This is the same thing with your investment account. Most people just don't realize it. So that $30,000 that Carter showed you how to get back from Uncle Sam, if you invested 100% of it immediately, if you wanted to, you could get access to a $15,000 line of credit to be able to leverage it to buy more investments, right? So not borrowing from your account, because if you borrow from it, you have $30,000 invested, you take out 15 to go do something with it, you still got, now you only have $15,000 invested. Borrowing against it means this is the value of it. You were able to leverage the value by getting a separate line of credit for 50% of the portfolio value. So your $30,000 is still growing, untouched, but now you got $15,000 extra to play with, right? And this is how you become your own bank. No credit check, no application, right? This is how you do it. And I'm gonna give you an example. I want you to know there's no cap in my rap, right? So this is one of my investment accounts that I use to borrow against to buy other investments. And as you can see, right, I'm able to borrow up to $206,000, right, at a 7.25% interest rate, right? And as you can see, here's my little small payments that I make back while my money is working for me elsewhere, making a lot more than what I'm paying back, okay? Now, just to give you a visual illustration of how powerful having your money work for you is, right? So last year, I was kind of interested in buying a Tesla. I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested. Do I want to buy a Tesla? right? And so me, I'm always curious, like, well, I don't want to pay for it. I want my investments to pay for it. So I logged into one of my portfolios and I looked at, how much my Tesla investment had appreciated to. I said, okay, wow, I said like $57,000 of Tesla stock. I said, wait, you mean to tell me that Tesla can buy me a Tesla if I wanted to? That's crazy, right? So it ain't that you can't get the thing that you want. It's just that where is the money going first, right? And I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy. Once you figure this game out, you ain't even really gonna want to buy stuff like that for real, because you realize that, wait, this is more money that I can use to buy my freedom faster. And then once I'm 100% free of not having to ever work again, then we can talk about leveraging my portfolio to buy stuff. Because if it was me, I'm gonna borrow against that Tesla stock to go buy some more Tesla stock. I'm gonna borrow against that Tesla stock to go buy real estate. I'm gonna borrow against that Tesla stock to go invest in another business so I can get to my freedom target faster, right? I'm gonna give y'all another visual illustration of how this works, because I know I'm a visual learner. So here's how this concept works, okay? You take the assets that you own, right? So in this case, you took the Burger King investment strategy, you invested in the stock market following my strategy. And now because you did that, you have the ability to borrow against that portfolio and get access to liquid capital, right? No credit checks, no nothing, instantaneously. 50% of whatever you've invested, okay? Then you take that liquid capital and then you use that to acquire more assets. But if you're smart, you would want to invest in assets that produce cash flow, right? And I'm going to show you why you'd want to invest in assets that produce cash flow in a second, right? And again, it says success loves receipts. So I just want to show y'all that there's no cap in my wrap. So when you look at the screenshot, you'll be able to see that this is me having a conversation with my realtor saying the deal was done. I said, bet, closed, and the money I used to acquire this rental property was the money I borrowed against my portfolio from, right? The money I borrowed against my portfolio. So what would that look like for you? Let's walk through the example. So step one, you take that $15,000 that you're able to get access to, that you borrowed against the value of your portfolio, and you buy a rental property using FHA qualifications at 3.5% down. That's going to get you out a $430,000 property, right? Now, after expenses, carrying costs, et cetera, you'll probably net, depending upon your interest rate that you got, somewhere around $1,200 a month in net positive cash flow, which is about $14,400 a year that you can reinvest into your portfolio. You can use it for whatever you want to use it, but that you can reinvest into your portfolio. Now, ironically, that's only $600 shy of the $15,000 that you borrowed in the first place. So if you were really scared of that, you were really scared, like, oh, I don't have any money that I borrowed, right? You could take that $14,400, add $600 to it, pay off the $15,000 that you borrowed, and then year over year, now you got free cash flow with no debt service. If that's what you want to do. You don't got to do that, but if that's what you wanted to do. And then you rinse and repeat this process, right? Until you buy another property and do it all over again. Now, how would you rinse and repeat the process? Well, the money that you can borrow against the value of your portfolio is based upon its value. Here's two things that we know. Our portfolio is going to grow in value every single year. I kind of skipped over this. Mine grew to the tune of 65% following the strategy that I just talked about. So my portfolio is going to grow. Why would I give up? Why would I sell my investments to go buy real estate when my portfolio earns 65%, right? When I can just pay a measly 7.5% to get access to capital to then go buy real estate? Because you hear stuff like buy low and sell high, which sounds cool in theory. What about buy low and sell never? Because here's the thing. We can't talk about building generational wealth if we ain't willing to hold assets for a generation, especially when you learn a strategy on how you can still get access to the money without even having to sell your investments, right? So this is the strategy one more time, because again, I don't want y'all to miss what I'm teaching y'all. Step one, invest in the stock market using the Burger King strategy that I just showed you. Step two, borrow against the value of your assets, right, to go buy cash flow producing assets like real estate, a business that you can own but not run, etc. Okay, you take that cash flow and then you reinvest the cash flow minus whatever interest you got to pay back on the money that you borrow into your portfolio, and then you just rinse and repeat this cycle. The same way you go to your laundry room and hit the rinse and repeat cycle, you do the same thing with your investment strategy. Now, Carter, when he was into his presentation, he stepped in my lane a little bit. He said something about, I'm gonna show y'all how to invest, right? So you can pay less taxes. If you want to invest, I mean, if you want to not pay taxes, whatever his quote is, right? He basically wanted to show y'all how you don't have to spend unnecessary money to decrease your tax liability, right? Well, I said, not on my watch. You're gonna step into my lane, and now I'm gonna step into your lane. Okay. So there's this little thing called real estate depreciation. So that rental property that y'all will now go acquire because you're going to invest your money into your portfolio and borrow against it and use that money for the down payment, that rental property is going to produce income. And as we know, when something produces income, we have to pay taxes. But what happens when we take advantage of bonus depreciation and now we're able to advance the write-off, right, into the first year so I can wipe out the income associated with that property. So now, let's do the math. My investment money in the stock market is growing for me that way. I borrowed against it to invest in a rental property. It's grown for me two ways. And then I reinvested that money back into my portfolio. And now it's growing at the same rate as my original investment. I invested three ways. And I didn't have to pay taxes on the money that I invested into my portfolio, right? Now, here's what's crazy. The IRS does not count loans as income. So that $15,000 that you borrowed to go buy the rental property, guess what? That is not counted as income. So you mean to tell me my investment is still growing? I was able to borrow against it to buy another investment that produced cash flow to invest in my original portfolio, and I didn't even have to pay taxes on the borrowed money. And not to mention, the IRS is going to give me a tax deduction on the loan interest. So that's 7.5% that I was paying, right, to borrow the money to go buy the rental property. The IRS is going to give me a deduction on the interest. And are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Are y'all understanding how the game goes? Let me tell y'all something. Rich people do the right things. Wealthy people own the right things. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care what you know, who you know. If making money is relying upon you, the best thing you could ever be is rich. But the moment you get hurt, the moment you get sick, the moment you get tired, that money is going to stop flowing. But what wealthy people know is I don't just need to do the right things. I also need to own the right things. And I need my investments to work for me so that working becomes optional. Here's something I want y'all to understand. The quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to enjoy it. On the other side of that, the longer you wait to achieve success, the less time you will have to enjoy it. Freedom is for sale, my good friends, if you're willing to pay the price. And that's my time.
First of all, what you ain't gonna do is come in my tax lane like that. What you ain't gonna do is come in my tax lane like that. No, y'all drop some fire emojis in the chat if my brother just blazed the stage and taught y'all how to invest and came in my lane and stop so y'all can stop paying the IRS, right? So, was that good or was it good? Right? Because we told y'all at the beginning, this ain't gonna be one of them classes that we act like we gonna teach y'all something, and then did we keep our promise that we made at the beginning? Told y'all this ain't that, right? Now, real talk, how many of y'all wish y'all had this information 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? How many of y'all wish y'all had this information 10 years ago? Right? How much different would your life be if you had it a long time ago? And yes, the best time to learn was 10 years ago. But the next best time to learn is now. Write this down. Now stands for no opportunity wasted. And we got to stop moving through life like we got multiple opportunities to get information that we should have been had a long time ago. Yes, they didn't teach us this in school. Yes, they kept us away from us on purpose. The question is, what are you going to do about it now? Because as we said at the beginning, we only could be able to teach y'all so much in an hour. And at the beginning of the class, I told y'all at the end, we're going to give a few of you all the opportunity to continue learning, right? We'll give a few of you all who are serious and not curious the opportunity to continue learning so you can continue earning, right? Somebody drop me in the chat if you know, you got to keep learning this stuff. Drop me in the chat if you know you got to be in the room, you got to stay in the room, and you got to get this financial information. That's a whole lot of me's, bro. It's a whole lot of me's in the chat.
Yeah. I don't blame them.
I don't blame him.
That's
So
how I felt when I first learned this information, right? That's how Carter felt when he first learned this information,
yeah,
right? So I get it.
So here's good news and bad news. I'll give you all the good news first. The good news is that we've created an opportunity for you all to continue learning from us so that we can keep this party going. The unfortunate news is we only are opening 50 spots tonight, and there are a few hundred people in this room right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you all about the opportunity, and then we're going to drop the link. And those who are serious that want to get in, cool. Those of you all who don't, fine. But like, we have to take advantage of opportunities when they're presented to us. And we can't act like we have more time to get this information, period. Right? Troy said, I'm proud of you, brother. I am proud of you too, Troy, for being in the room. So we're going to go over the opportunity, and then we're going to drop the link in a moment. And those of you all who are with us, and we'll get right into it. So you all just spent an hour with us, and it was so hard packing all this information into a small amount of time. So we're like, if we can teach them this much in an hour, how much could we teach the people if we just spent a little bit more time with them? Right? A little bit more time. Like drop me in the chat if you spent a little bit more time, you will learn a little bit more. Right? So here's what we did. We sat down, we say, okay. I said, gee, like how many hours, how many days would they need to spend with you to learn all the stuff that you actually have to teach?
Well, if we're gonna try to condense decades into days, whoo, that's hard. But I need a hot 2.5. Like I need at least 2 to do some damage. At least 2.
Okay. 2. So if I want to go in depth on the strategies of how to like write up your rent, how to pay your children for your business, how to live tax-free, how to leverage your S Corp in your business to not pay tax. If I'm gonna go into the deep details on all that, I'm gonna need at least 2 days too.
Yeah, because if I'm gonna go, I saw somebody said, "How can I leverage my 401k?" So because they're probably thinking, "Well, I never heard that I could access my 401k," and typically you can't. But there's a strategy where you can. If I'm gonna teach them that, I'm gonna need some time to back into that so they can not pay taxes on the money that people tell them that
they gotta pay tax.
Your 401k, you got a 10% penalty, plus you gotta pay ordinary income taxes. I'm gonna have to, dig in the bag a little deep, right, to show how they can act. How many of y'all got retirement accounts that are underperforming, and you're like, I wish I could do something with this money now. I don't want to wait till I'm age 59 and a half. How many of y'all, I see me. Okay, cool. So would that be helpful if I showed y'all how to take those IRAs, those retirement accounts that are underperforming, and use it to buy stuff like real estate, use it to invest in businesses that you own but do not run, use it to take advantage of the Burger King investment strategy? Would that be helpful?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So if we're gonna do all that, we need not just 1 day with y'all. We need not just 2, not just 3, not just 4. If we gonna give all y'all this game, we're gonna need to spend 5 days with y'all virtually. So what we decided to do was put together what we call our Multiply Your Money Challenge, where we're gonna let you all spend 5 days with us virtually so we can teach y'all all the strategies that we know. And what we can promise you all, just like we promised you in this class, if you join this 5-day training, you're going to learn how to get $50,000 in capital for your business or your future business. You're going to learn how to earn $50,000 from investments. And I'm personally going to teach you how to save $50,000 in taxes. So over this 5-day virtual training, you're going to be able to flip your situation and add an extra $150,000 of net worth to your situation. So this 5-day virtual training is going to be held August 26th through the 30th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, right? And not only are you get 5 days live with us and get all these strategies, we will be remiss if we didn't allow you all to ask us questions each of those days. Like how many of y'all got questions that you need answered about your specific situation, about your taxes, about your investments? So we're going to also give you all daily Q&A with us every single day. So you get 5 days of education, but you also get 5 days of Q&A included as a part of this experience. And if anybody had the excuse now, man, that time really don't work for me. What if I miss one of the days? What if I got to go to practice, take the kids to soccer? You are going to get temporary access to the challenge recordings. Now, it's called a challenge for a reason because we challenge you to show up every single day. But if you happen to miss a day, you will get temporary access to the recordings so you can watch what you missed. Okay? And if that wasn't good enough, somebody dropped the word extra in the chat. We've been extra all day. We've been giving y'all extra game. We've been honestly a little extra in our presentation. So can we just keep the extra going? So not only y'all get 5 days with us, not only y'all get daily Q&A, not only y'all get access to the recordings, but I want to personally give you lifetime access to my business incorporation blueprint course. Now, this course will teach you how to set up your LLC, set up your S Corp, set up your C Corp, how to manage the finances of your business, and how to structure your business to minimize your taxes. I want you to make the maximum amount of money in your business, but I want you to minimize your taxes as well. So that is my personal bonus to you as an extra. Now,
you know, and again, I'm not going to let him listen. I will not be outdone, right? So there's a little thing in the stock market called dividend paying stocks. And what that means is in addition to the appreciation and the stock growing, they're going to pay you a little something extra, right? Just for owning the stock. So what I wanted to do in being extra is give you my top dividend paying stocks guide so that you guys can also add some of those to your portfolio if you decide to do so that you can start getting paid income from your investments along with your investments growing too.
That's
drips. Exactly. Somebody know the game. Somebody knows.
Yeah. Let me get y'all a breakdown what y'all gonna get. Y'all get 5 days with us live in this training, daily Q&A every single day. Y'all get temporary access to the recordings. Y'all get 2 bonus courses that y'all get lifetime access to. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the education is tax deductible. So the money that you're gonna pay to join us, you're gonna get a write-off on your taxes. So think about it. You're gonna get a tax write-off to learn how to get more tax write-offs, okay? Now, some of y'all asked how much is the investment, and I told you all at the beginning, we will keep it transparent. I said, if you want to join us, you want to keep this learning going, you're going to get access to all this for the low price of $19.97, which again is also tax deductible. But can we be a blessing to some of y'all tonight? Y'all been a blessing. It's been a dope room. Y'all been vibing. Y'all been with us the whole time. We haven't even had a drop off of people. Can we do a blessing tonight, y'all? Because this is our first time presenting this challenge, this go around. So y'all are the first people that are actually seeing this opportunity. So y'all are going to be the first people to join us. So what I want to do is, and we'll do this for the first 50 people because we only got 50 spots tonight. So we'll do it only for the first 50. For the first 50, we want to bless y'all. And those first 50 people that decide to take advantage of the offer, you're not going to have to pay $2,000 for it. What if I also told you, you're not going to have to pay $1,500 to join us? But what if I also told you, you're not going to have to pay $1,000 to join us? Like, that would be crazy, right? Troy said, what? Look, brother, let me bless y'all. For those first 50 people that take advantage tonight, you're going to get everything that we just told you, including the bonuses, for the low investment of $397.
That's crazy. That's people waste $397 on brunch.
Yeah. That don't even make sense. The courses alone cost more than that.
Y'all done paid more than that for a course that you didn't even open or that was trash, right? Yeah. But y'all gonna get access to us for 5 days, get to ask your personal questions.
Yeah. We got y'all. Y'all going crazy. Y'all going crazy. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pause the chat. Okay. And we're gonna drop the link. Those first 50 people that grab the link, you get all this, all the bonuses, everything we just talked about for $397. Now, what I will say is this. Once those 50 spots are gone, they're gone. And this $397 price, you're not going to see again. This is a early bird special because y'all are the first people we given access to. So what our team is going to do, we're going to drop the link I'm sorry, the team just dropped the link in the chat. We're going to drop the number of seats that we have remaining as they go up. So if you go take advantage of it early, because my mentor told me slow feet don't eat and success loves speed. And once those drop to 0, we are out. So damn, it's quick. So we already only have 39 seats left. So 11 people took advantage of it. We still have a couple hundred people left in this room. So if you want to get in this room, if you want to join us, if you want to enter the land of financial freedom, if you want to learn how to invest, if you want to save on taxes, if you want to get capital for your business, and you want to be a part of this experience, click the link below, save your seat now, because I can promise you, you are not going to find a better way to invest $397 than you will tonight.
And here's the thing, right? Some of y'all might be wondering, like, well, why are y'all doing this? Like, this makes no sense. This is crazy. Unless y'all just really want to bless the people. Where's the truth? Like, how many of y'all are tired of gurus online just like always saying they got the secrets? Like, they got the secrets, right? Like, they're always giving out the secrets, right? Supposedly. But you're like, I'm busy trying to grow my business. I'm busy with all the things I'm trying to do. I want somebody to actually help me do these things, right? Well, here's a little secret we're gonna share with y'all today, right? We only like working with educated clients because some people probably wonder, like, well, I know Carter's a CPA, George is a financial advisor. Well, this information is amazing, but like, can I like have y'all help me with it? The answer is maybe, right? But what we first need to do is educate you on all of the strategies that we are doing for our clients, right? Because once you are educated and you know how we do what we do, then it might make sense for you to say, you know what? I need to hire those guys, right? So here's the catch. The reason why we're doing this is because at the end of the 5-day challenge, a smaller percentage of you guys will be able to have the opportunity to potentially, keyword potentially, hire us. But we want to make sure that whoever is not afforded that opportunity has all the strategies that they need to be able to win the game of money. And for those of y'all who are interested in working with us, y'all will understand what that looks like at the end of the 5-day challenge. So that's why we're doing this. Again, no, like full transparency. We like educated clients. And we want to make sure that whether you become our client or not, that you can get the right information. You can black out the noise from everything that's online and know what are the top 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs doing to save money on taxes and invest. Here. Right? That's what we're going to show you. We don't care about, we can give the information away ad nauseum because we're doing it for our clients. Right? 100%. So that's the purpose of the 5-day challenge.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell y'all, like, it's not a coincidence you're in this room. It's confirmation. Like, y'all been asking, man, I wish I had access to the top CPAs so I can learn about how to save on taxes. I wish I had access to the top financial advisors so I can learn how to invest. And now you have that opportunity. So I'm here to tell you, it's not a coincidence that you're in this room. It is confirmation. Right? One of the things I tell people all the time, and I say, pray about it, then don't play about it. Right? So many of you all pray for this opportunity, and now it's here. And like, we want to be the people that help you get to that generational wealth. We already know time and time again, it was not set up for us to win. The school system purposely kept money, investing, and taxes out of the school system. We can't fix what they did, but we can fix how we move forward. One thing I always tell people, if you want to enter the land of phenomenal, you must first be willing to leave the land of familiar. And during this 5 days, we are going to stretch you. We're going to take you to the next level. We're going to help you and your family achieve the financial freedom that you all deserve. Right. Because it's not your fault if you didn't have this information before. But it is on you if you don't do everything in your power, every ounce of you, to get it, not just to save yourself, but to save your future generations. Because like I said at the beginning, we got some curse breakers in this room. We got some people that's passing money down to their kids and their kids' kids. And I'm here to tell you that generational curses might have ran in your family before this, but I'm here to tell you generational curses ran in your family until they ran into you. Somebody drop curse breaker in the chat if you know you are the curse breaker for you and your family. Because it's impossible to build generational wealth if you're giving 50% of your money away to the IRS. It's impossible building generational wealth if you have to work for every single dollar you have to earn. There's a quote that says, if you don't find ways to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die. And there are so many people who that waited too long to find ways to make money while they sleep. Now they're working in their 50s, 60s, 70s. How you gonna pass money down if you still gotta work for it? So if
go ahead, Carter.
no, I was saying if you want to leave a legacy, it starts with one legend.
Woo!
You missed that. That's new. That's new for you, brother. That's new for you, brother. If you want to start a legacy, it starts with one legend. Why not you? Right?
That's heavy. Hey, can I share something with y'all that nobody else knows unless they attended the event that we had this past week? So in the first 5 months of 2024, we've helped our clients improve their net worth by $100 million in 5 months. I'm gonna tell you, here's the thing, because our team pulled the stats.
Yeah.
I had read it for the first time on stage because we didn't have a real run through. I was like, hold on, wait, what? Like I was caught off guard, right? And everybody everywhere is celebrating people for the cars they buy, the homes they buy. Who is celebrating people for the money that they're keeping, right? And we just want to show y'all the strategies that can help you keep more of your money, build your net worth, and ultimately buy your freedom. Because it is so rewarding to see people who never thought it was possible for them and now see what they're doing. So I'm super excited for those. Matter of fact, it looks like we're sold out. If you tapped in, drop all in the chat real quick. If you're gonna be with us in this amazing experience, drop all in the chat. See, somebody in the comments said
they was at Wealth Weekend. That's crazy. Hey, I saw myself. Let's go. All the people you helped. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And let me just show you all, because some of y'all might be like, and I want to say this because like I don't want to be, some people show receipts because they like trying to flex. They want to show something. We don't show y'all receipts because we want to impress y'all. We show y'all receipts because there's a world of noise out here on social media streets and in the real streets. And we don't want y'all to let y'all know, like, we have to be able to fight through the noise. So, okay, yeah. And our team going to stay on and answer any questions. But I just want to show y'all because I love what we're able to do for our clients. So, like, do our clients get results? So here's a screenshot of one of our clients' tax refund. And can somebody in the chat help me understand what that says? On the left side, it says refund status. I believe it says $77,241 tax refund, if I'm not mistaken, right? A $77,241 tax refund because they were overpaying the IRS because they didn't have the information. Like, ignorance is not bliss, y'all. Our parents this off. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is expensive.
Very.
So expensive. So not only that, but if you see another one of our clients, they've been investing their money, and in one day, their money made them $10,776. And what I want y'all to understand, y'all are not far from these results. Okay? You are not far from the results. You just have to get in the room with the right people and get the right education to change your situation. That's all we're saying. And this 5-day challenge is going to help you get to the next level. I can promise you that.
Big facts. And again, like we like to keep it honest. Like there's no other shoe that's going to drop, right? It's like we have a big mission to help a lot of people understand how to build wealth. There's only so many people that our company can individually serve. And for everybody else who won't have that opportunity, we want to give all the secrets away so that you can take advantage of that and be one of those people, right? With or without working with it. Like that is really simple. There's no hidden, you don't have to worry about where the hidden agenda is, right? We have a role of helping a lot of people, which is why we've decreased the wealth gap by $100 million in 5 months, right? So excited for those who tapped in. It's gonna be an amazing 5 days. Just make sure you check your emails for all the information. We're gonna stay engaged with you because we know it's a few weeks out. We want to make sure you keep this energy high. right? So that you guys can come into that 5-day challenge and absolutely transform your life over the course of the 5 days. So just make sure you pay attention to the information that's coming your way. And listen, we're more than halfway through the year. It's August now, right? Like, what are we gonna do? Are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind schedule, right? Or are we right on target? Either way, if we're not where we want to be, we need to use this as the catalyst to make sure that we can end the year strong, right? So I can't wait to see y'all inside. We're gonna go crazy.
So with this, what we want to do. We want to give all of you all as a surprise gift a free wealth assessment that you can take. And then once you take it, you answer a few questions. It's going to spit out some recommendations that from us on how to improve your wealth. So you can take this wealth health assessment, takes 5 minutes, but you can at least know where you stand, right? So we want to give that as a freebie to everybody that joined as a surprise freebie. You got the wealth health assessment link in the chat.
Yeah, and the reason why it's important for y'all to complete that is because we tailor what we teach based upon where you are in your journey, right? So you complete that assessment, it's going to let us know where you are in your journey, and that's going to influence some of the things that we teach. Obviously, we're coming with tried and true strategies that we know are going to be valuable and impactful and important to you guys. But if we see a trend that there's something that people really need to learn, then we are going to make sure that we tailor make the presentations and the sessions, right? So take the 5 minutes, complete it. The same reason why you wouldn't go into a doctor's office without doing an assessment so they don't misdiagnose you. Is the same reason why you want to complete this wealth health assessment so that we can give you the proper information to make sure the 5 days is absolutely revolutionary, right? And the reason why we are transparent is because we don't want anybody thinking that this is anything more than us wanting to help y'all. Let me help y'all understand something, right? Me and Carter are what you would call a lighthouse, not a rescue boat. Okay. We are not here to save anybody. We are here to show you that you can save yourself. And did you know that if I light you up, it ain't gonna turn my light down? Did y'all know that? Did anybody know that? Did y'all know if I was a candle and I just leaned over a little bit and lit you, that my flame ain't gonna go out? I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but that's why we're giving out this game, because y'all need to be the curse breakers in your family. Y'all need to be the ones to set the tone for the generations, right? And we are here to give you everything you need to make that happen, right? And we're still on a high from seeing how many people we've been able to help in just 5 months of 2024. So we want to keep the party going. We want y'all to be a part of that party. Let's get it going. It's a financial festival, baby.
Let's get it.
Festival.
Get it. Let's get it, y'all. See y'all next time. See y'all on After Challenge. We love y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed yourself.
Peace.
Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, family? Welcome to the Multiply Your Money Masterclass. We could not be more excited to be in a room with you all right now because we are about to change some lives. We are about to break some generational curses. We are about to help some people attain financial freedom. We're about to do it all. My brother, what's going on, man?
That's a fact. That's a fact. How you feeling? I know we just had an opportunity to teach some people in person recently. So we say, let's keep the party going and share the good news online.
1000%, man. 1000%. A lot of lives were changed this past weekend. A lot of lives could be changed on this class today, because you all signed up for this masterclass because you all wanted to learn how to multiply your money in 2024. You want to learn how to minimize your taxes in 2024 as well. So the goal of this free masterclass is to teach you how to save $25,000 in taxes. And then you could take that money that I just helped you get back from the IRS, and now you have that money to go invest, right? Some of y'all already got money to invest right now, and that's cool. But can I give y'all some extra money to invest? Somebody dropped the word extra in the chat. I want to help you find some extra money, right? Because the more the money that you have to invest, the more money that you ultimately be able to multiply. So that is our promise with this class, and we are so happy to have you all here. And it's going to be a phenomenal event. Now, one thing that I want to do, because oftentimes people, how do I want to phrase this? Some of us come to these classes often, and that's fine. But some of us in this room are addicted to education, but allergic to execution. right? Some people are addicted to education, but allergic to execution. And getting the information is great, but information will only change your situation through implementation. So what I want you all to do, can y'all please just go grab a notepad, something to take notes with, because and we don't send out any of the recordings. So I don't want you all to be in a place like, hey, run that back. I didn't get that. And then now you can't execute because you didn't take notes. Okay, so grab the notepads because we're going to execute on this information.
I'm curious, like, what made you sign up for the class? Like, what are you here for? Like, what do you want to leave this class knowing? When you're an expert at what you do, right? Like, you can make some adjustments in real time to make sure that the room gets exactly what they came for. So investment strategies, tax efficiency, how to increase my money, how I can make my money work for me and retire early, better investment, tax write-offs.
So here's what I want to know. Do we have more people in here for tax knowledge? Do we have more people in here for investing? We should do that every class to see. Yeah. I love it. So
I'm
investing.
exhausted from paying taxes and want to make some major changes. Okay, Catherine, we're here for a treat.
But sure, okay, some people are here for investing, some people are here for tax savings, some people are in here for both, which is amazing. Okay, so who you want to go first, bro? Should I go first?
I think if we gonna give them the tax game, so they can get that money back from the IRS.
You're right. I'll go first. So I'm gonna go ahead and get busy. But yeah, but I do want to do this before we get started. How many of y'all have ever came to like one of these free classes before? And the person teaching, they promised they was gonna teach you something, but all they tried to do was like sell you something the whole time, right? It happened to me last week. Right? How many of y'all came to one of these free classes? They promised that they teach you about Turo, Airbnb, e-commerce, Amazon. They probably they'll teach you something, and all they tried to do was sell you something the whole time. Like, bro, there's nothing more disrespectful than you wasting my time. I mean, wasting my money, that hurt. But wasting my time, you wasting the only thing I can't get back. Okay, so if any of you all had that experience before, I'm here to tell you that this ain't that. Can y'all do me a favor? Drop this ain't that in the chat. This ain't that. Okay? Because it just happened to me last week and I was so upset. I said, bro, why would you send me off like that? Right? So this ain't that. But in the spirit of transparency, here's what I want to say, because my brother taught me to keep it humble, open, and transparent. And I'm probably one of the most transparent people you ever gonna meet. Okay? We gonna give you a whole lot of game. And at the end of today's class, we're going to give you all an opportunity to continue learning with us. That opportunity is not going to be for everybody. We'll give y'all a few of you all opportunity to continue working with us. And that opportunity is going to be a $2,000 investment. Cards on the table, right? But that's not important. I don't even want you thinking about that because that's not your job. Your only job is to get as much free game in this next 60 minutes as you possibly can. That's it. Your job is to give as much free game as you possibly can in the next 60 minutes. My job is to give you as much game as I can in the next 60 minutes, okay? And at the end of today's class, you're gonna know if it's worth it or not. If I didn't help you make any money or save any money in the free class, don't try to give us any money at the end, right? We're gonna give y'all some free game. If the learning was good and you enjoyed it, then you can take advantage of the offer. If you don't, I'm gonna love you anyway. Like, is that cool? Like, I don't know why people just can't be that upfront. Like, yo, I'm gonna give y'all some game at the end. You go, if you want to tap in, tap in. If you don't have to. Cool. So now there's no elephant in the room. Like, it's Carter and George trying to sell you something. No, Carter and George is here to give some free game. And those of you all who don't want the learning to stop, you're gonna keep learning. Period. Okay, cool. Now that we got that out the way, let's go right into today's class. So, like I said, I'm gonna teach you how to save $25,000 in taxes. And then George is going to come back and teach you how to invest that money. All right. So my segment is what I call your blueprint to tax-free living. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Y'all let me know if y'all can see. Okay, cool. So let me know in the chat. Y'all can see. Okay, bet. So, for those of you all who don't know me, my name is Carter Cofield. I am a CPA, licensed CPA for over 10 years, and I'm one of the top CPAs in the country. As a matter of fact, the #1 accounting magazine in America named me the #1 accountant for millennials. Not only that, but they decided to put your boy on the cover of the magazine. Look at God, won't he do it? right? So, and I don't show you all this to impress you all, but I show you all this for one important thing. There's a lot of noise on the internet, and you should vet everybody you're about to learn from. So just in case you didn't vet me before you came into this class, I'm vetting myself for you to let you know that I am somebody that is worth learning from, and I actually have the expertise and the credentials, right? I got more degrees than a thermometer, y'all. Okay, so any words coming out of my mouth, you don't got to worry about is it true or not. All right, cool. So now y'all didn't come here for me though. Y'all came for the class. So I'm gonna give you the bad news about taxes, and then I'm gonna give you the good news. If that's okay. We gonna do bad news first, and we gonna do good news second. So here's the bad news, because I know everybody in this room hates taxes, right? Why do we hate taxes? The bad news is that the average American pays 51% of their lifetime income to the IRS. Ain't that crazy? The average American pays 51% of their lifetime income to the IRS. And like, just in case y'all don't understand what 51% means, because I know all of us don't do math for a living like I do. That means that the first 6 months of every year, you are working for free. Okay? That means January, February, March, April, May, June, you are working for free. And I would encourage you to stop doing that, because here's what you don't realize. You'd be like, well, I don't pay 51% in tax. Well, let's talk about it. Before you even see your paycheck, you got to pay federal tax, state tax, self-employment tax. After you get your money, you try to spend your money at the store, you got to pay sales tax. Okay, you want to follow the American dream and buy a home? Guess what? You got to pay property tax. You want to sell that home for more than what you paid for it? Guess what? You got to pay capital gains tax. And then when you die, depending on how much you earned during your lifetime, they hit you again with a state tax. So when I say you pay 51% of your money to the IRS every single year, that's what I mean. Okay? And I'm here to tell you right now, all the money that you need for your goals and your dreams, you are currently giving it to the IRS. So all the money you wish you had to invest, all the money you wish you had to get in real estate, all the money you wish you had to jumpstart your business, all the money you wish you had to travel more, you have the money, you're just giving it away. Okay? So that's the bad news. That's the bad news. Okay? Everybody take a deep breath, because I know some of y'all can't breathe right now. Okay? Everybody take a deep breath. BK said this is slavery. It's the closest thing to it. Okay? It's the closest thing to it. So that's the bad news, but here's the good news. Here's the good news. The tax code was not created to make you pay a lot of money in taxes. Okay? I'm gonna say it again. The tax code was not created to make you pay a lot of money in taxes. As a matter of fact, the tax code is actually a rule book, an 88,000-page rule book teaching you how to legally avoid paying taxes. Okay? Now, I know some of y'all don't believe it, and here's the reason why. You can't win the game of taxes yet because you haven't yet learned the rules. Okay? Like, you can't win the game of taxes if you don't know the rules. So the reason why you can't comprehend how is the tax code made to help me? It is, but you got to learn the rules of the game so you can start winning the game. Okay? Can't win the game you don't know the rules to. So just to show you all what is possible, is it okay if I be super transparent and I show y'all something that I honestly probably shouldn't be showing y'all? But like, can I be super transparent really quickly? Because I believe that transparency is important. Okay. Maggie Griffin said, yeah, please do. Destiny said, please do. Amber, okay, cool. So here is a copy of my 2021 tax return. Now, I don't know how many tax experts on the internet is going to show you their receipts of their tax return. I don't know how people are going to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay. So if you look in 2021, I had two businesses back then. One business did about 270,000. The other business did about 540,000. So we did a little over $800,000 in revenue in 2021. God is good. Won't he do it? Now, does anybody remember what tax rate the average American pays? Does anybody remember what I said at the beginning? How much taxes the average American pays? 51%. So y'all paying attention. Somebody trying to win this money at the end. Somebody trying to win this money. Okay, great. 51%. Now, that means that 51% times 400,000, that is over $400,000. So that means that I was supposed to cut the IRS a check for $400,000. Can y'all imagine that? That would make me physically sick, like nauseous, right? But because I knew the rules of the game, we didn't do that. When we filed taxes, here was my results. We owed the state of Illinois about $4,238. So we owed the state of Illinois $4,238, but we got a federal tax refund of $14,586. Now, some of y'all like, Carter, wait a second. How is it possible that you had $800,000 of income and got a $14,000 tax refund? Like, did anybody have that question? Like, how can somebody earn more than you but pay less taxes than you, right? And the answer is simple. Once you know the rules of the game, you can start winning the game. See, some people, they get mad at the tax code and say the tax code is made for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poor. Some people get mad at wealthy people and say they're crooks and they should go to jail. I would encourage you, like, don't spend your time hating the player. Don't spend your time hating the game. Instead, learn the game so you can win the game. And today, I'm about to give you the only rules you need to learn if you want to win the game. Okay? So can somebody do me a favor? Can you just drop win the game in the chat if you are ready to win the game? Can you drop win the game in the chat if you are ready to win the game? All right, cool. So here are the 2 rules you must learn. All right. Rule number 1. The tax code was created to benefit entrepreneurs and investors, not employees. Okay? I'm gonna say that. I gotta say it again because y'all might have missed it. The tax code was not created to benefit employees. I'm sorry. The tax code was created to benefit entrepreneurs and investors. Some of y'all like, why? Well, as an entrepreneur, I stimulate the economy, right? And the government will always reward people who stimulate the economy, AKA the government is really lazy and they're going to reward you for doing their job for them. So as a business owner, for every job that I create, guess what? That's one less person on unemployment. For every job that I create, that's one less that's one less job that they have to create. So because I'm doing the government job for them, they're going to give me massive tax breaks. And guess what? If you do everything that the government wants you to do, they'll easily allow you to live tax-free. So if you want to win the game of taxes, you first need to be on the right team. You need to be an entrepreneur or you need to be an investor. Okay? That easy enough. That makes sense. Drop got it in the chat. Y'all got it? Like, why they didn't teach us this in school is beyond me, but we learned it today. Okay? So that's rule number 1. Now here goes rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the rules of write-offs. Now, honesty moment. I've been honest with y'all all day so far. Now, actually, be honest with me. Is there anybody in the room that has heard the word write-offs, but you don't really know what it means? Let me know. Is there anybody in the room that heard the word write-off, but you don't really know what it means? Okay, cool. And it's honesty. I appreciate it. So here's how, before I show you what a write-off is, let me just give you a quick example of how a write-off works, okay? So the way the write-offs work is if you have $100,000 of income, let me stop sharing so I can see. Yeah, if you have $100,000 of income, you got to pay taxes on that $100,000. Duh, right? If $100,000 of income, you got to pay taxes on $100K. But if you have $100,000 of income, but $30,000 of write-offs, guess what? You don't have to pay taxes on the whole $100,000. You only have to pay taxes on the $70,000 that's left. So what it basically means is write-offs lower your income, which therefore lowers your taxes. That makes sense? Write-offs lower your income, which lower your taxes. So what that means is that the more write-offs we can get, guess what? The less taxes we will pay. The more write-offs we can get, the less taxes we will pay. So now it's like, how do we get as many write-offs as we possibly can? right? So let's talk about that. So let's talk about now that we understand how write-offs work, let's talk about what a write-off actually is, okay? So, and this is a screenshot from the IRS's tax code. This is not something that Carter says. I'm giving y'all, this is like written IRS tax code 162A. It says, allows a deduction for all ordinary and necessary expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year in a trade or business. So what that basically means is if you have a business or if you have a side business, or even if your job pays you as a 1099 contractor, if you're one of the three, any expense that you can prove to be both ordinary and necessary to operate your business, that expense is tax deductible to you. So, like, I hope y'all are having the same epiphany that I had. So I said, wait a second. So that means if I'm using my cell phone, which I'm already paying for, if I'm using my cell phone in my business and I'm using it to call my employees and I'm using it to call my clients and I'm using it to schedule meetings, would that mean that a portion of my phone bill and my cell phone is tax deductible? Huh. So wait a second. If I buy this iPad and I'm using my iPad to teach a class, does that mean that a portion of my iPad can be written off in my business as well? Oh, wait a second. So you mean to tell me if I go to dinner with somebody and we bring up business at the dinner table, does that mean that personal dinner is now a business dinner and I can write off 50% of it? Wow. So I have the same epiphany that some of y'all are having right now. I said, wait a second. So you mean to tell me the moment I shift from employee to entrepreneur, most of my personal expenses become immediate tax deductible business expenses the moment I have a business? So what do y'all think I did when I found this out? What do y'all think I did when I found this out? Oh, baby, we started the business. You can best believe that. We started the business. So is it okay if I teach you all like a real life example of how to wipe out $100,000 of income in your business without having to spend extra money? Would that be helpful? I can show y'all how to wipe out 100,000, 6 figures of income. All right, y'all said y'all ready. Hey, look, if it's one thing we gonna do, we gonna see, okay? If it's one thing we gonna do, we are going to see. All right, so let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know y'all can see my iPad. Let me know y'all can see my iPad. About to get busy. So advanced. Share. Back. Okay, cool. So my second year in business, I had my first 6-figure year, right? My first year in business, my second year in business, I had my first 6-figure year, all right? So I earned $100,000 in income. The problem is I had to pay state taxes, federal taxes, and self-employment taxes on this income. So I had all my tax bracket. So that means I had a $30,000 tax bill that I had to pay to the IRS. Now, this was before I learned about IRS Code Section 162A. So midway through the year, I realized that I could start taking write-offs in my business. Okay? And let me just say this as well. If you're a